Overtake mode is engaged. It's right here between myself, Ricardo, and Vettel. I thought I said Vettel twice, sorry. Where we gotta go, we force ourselves our way to the inside. We all have to do the brakes. We make contact with our teammate. We don't make the corner. There's contact between Vettel and Sergio Perez. It's all... Turbocharged 51 over here. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. We are back on F1 2020, back on career mode, driving for Scuderia Ferrari. And guys, it is time to have some fun because we are heading towards probably one of the best tracks on the calendar. No, it is one of the best tracks on the calendar and a fan favorite, as Martin Brundle always says. We are heading towards the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa-Francorchamps. Now guys, before we do anything, make sure to go down below and drop a like on the video. It's only going to take you a nifty 2 seconds. And let's get straight into this episode. So guys, you guys know the season is it's starting to we are now after the summer break. It's starting to head towards the end, and we here at Ferrari have got a very good lead in the constructors as well as the drivers championship for ourselves. Our teammate Sebastian Vettel has struggled a bit throughout the season so far, but we are looking very handy in the Drivers' Championship and also in the Constructors. But for those of you guys that are a little bit behind, recently, Renault have really started to catch up, and they are definitely as quick as ourselves and Mercedes. So it's going to be a very interesting weekend around a track where Renault usually run well. They usually run well around Spa, so we'll have to see what happens. There's a quick sneak peek at the championship. We are more than 100 points ahead of our teammate Vettel, and then followed right behind. He's only 3 points behind Hamilton, so we are exactly 100 points ahead of Hamilton. And then Bottas is the defending champion, so it's between myself and Valtteri once again. But we always know that Lewis just finds another gear in the second half of the season, so I'm sure that Lewis is going to be rivaling Valtteri for the points, and with the championship is still yet far from won. So you guys can see it now, our chassis upgrade has finally come in. We checked out a few of the other upgrades. We've only got a reliability upgrade still to come. And here we start the season break because it's after Hungary. And now we start the second half of the season. Unfortunately, our gearbox durability has failed. I think we repurchased it basically immediately. We don't have enough R&D points. And that's okay. We'll just buy it after this weekend. And then it will be on the car as we head towards our home Grand Prix in Italy at Monza. You guys can see here, waiting towards the tire choices for this weekend. I think I went with a softer one. I think I went softer, or did I go balanced? I'm not sure. No, I think I went softer, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, okay, no, we went balanced. So let's head straight towards the race weekend. I'm always excited for Spa. It's the longest track on the calendar when it comes to length, and it's just a wild ride. My favorite corner in the entirety of F1 is on this track, Pouan in the second sector. Beautiful, beautiful corner. Now you guys see, looking at the performance chart, we at Ferrari are still leading the way, but we are only slightly ahead of Mercedes. If you guys look at our results, heading back to Silverstone, which was Hamilton's home Grand Prix, that's the first time this season we haven't gotten points and haven't been on the podium. Then hey, we head to Hungary and we just bag another P3, but the competition has really gotten stiffer throughout the rest of the season. Racing Point are in P3, but they just don't have the pace. I don't know why they're so high, because Renault and Red Bull are quicker than Racing Point, especially Renault. But then you've got AlphaTauri in P6, McLaren P7, Haas in P8, actually ahead of Alfa Romeo, and then Williams are still bringing up the rear end of the field. But guys, like I said, the season is far from over. There's still a lot and twists and turns that can come our way, as well as the other teams. So heading in towards this episode, like I say, guys, I'm always very excited for Spa-Francorchamps, and I'm really feeling good here. My main thing is just stay consistent and keep the points flowing in. So let's head straight to short qualifying. This track is one of the most beautiful tracks when it comes to scenery. We are racing literally within the Ardennes forest. It's beautiful. Heading towards the end of our first run in qualifying though. Through the bus stop chicane, you guys can see I back off completely. It wasn't the cleanest lap, but I really wanted to try to set a lap actually on the medium tire. Sorry guys, just quickly moving my headset a bit. I really wanted to try and do a lap on the medium tires to see how high I can get myself, because starting this race on the mediums would be a big plus if I can finish the race on the softs or on low fuel. The cars are just stupidly quick at the end of a race here when you are on the soft tires. So that is what I wanted. I wanted to be the fastest car on track, you know, thinking about fastest lap, that extra point and all the other variables. But as we come across the line, you guys can see we go up obviously on our time because I backed off, but it's only good enough for P.15 on the grid. But I go out, literally I do a second lap on the same set of tires, just kept going again, and this lap was considerably better. We are up by just over 2 tenths. It's 2 1/4 tenths. We go up, and that
at the end of this lap.
Thank you, Jeff. And we are up only into P13, but that is obviously not good enough, guys. We need at least 10th, like at least. That's the minimum, and that is still not actually a very solid performance in my opinion. A good performance would be top 6, top 8, but 8, lower than 8 is really starting to go into danger territory. So you guys can see I go down to the lowest amount of fuel, I strap on a brand new set of softer tires, and it is now time for our final run in qualifying.
All complete. Mechanics, please stand clear. We're ready to go.
Thank you, Jeff, and it's time for our final lap at one of the best tracks on the calendar. Heading in towards the first corner, it's a very tight right-handed hairpin. So first gear to get the car in, short shift into second and third gear. I actually do not short shift into third there. The car just had phenomenal grip. Down the hill, heading towards Eau Rouge, a very famous corner. Up through Eau Rouge and over Radion, heading now down the Camel Straight towards La Source. I think it's La Source. It is La Source. Why do I always forget this chicane's name? Not the point. Down the Camel Straight, into this next right-left chicane. Brake on the very outside of the track. Use the curb to have the widest possible entry into the corner. Right-left, into another right-hander. Just floor the car through there. Just you tap the brake and then you just put your foot flat down. Into this downhill right-hander. Heading in towards No Name. This corner literally does not have a name. Fourth gear over the curb. Swerve onto the outside curb. And now heading towards my favorite corner on the F1 calendar. Into P1, downshift 7th gear and put your foot down, just hang on for dear life as you head through the corner. Through P1, that feels amazing. That was a beautiful run. Into this next right-left chicane, a very, very quick chicane, but be careful not to be too hasty on the power because that corner can easily spin you. Into this next, basically the penultimate corner of the track because you don't brake until the bus stop chicane. Excuse the jump there, guys. Stupid PlayStation recording system. But we head through there. It's flat out all the way towards the bus stop chicane. Now, heading through this next one where it's flat out all the way. Come on, beautiful through there. And now, here we go. And onto the brakes, heavy braking zone into the bus stop chicane. Mount both curbs on the inside. Get the power down slowly and surely. Open up DRS and we head towards the line and it's going to be P!
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top 3 today. Bottas, Ocon and Lewis Hamilton. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
That could not have gone worse. We are starting P10 on the grid, and guys, this is when I realized I made a big doo-doo in qualifying. I was running with an old, worn engine, and because I started qualifying, I can't swap engine parts now unless I accept a penalty, which I'm not. So we are really on the back foot for this race now. But let's see what happens. It's race time!
We're in Belgium once again for today's round of the Formula One World Championship. It's a race the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since Michael Schumacher in 1992. So here we are once again, ready to go racing through the Ardennes forest. 4.35 miles of long straights, fast corners, and massive elevation changes. It makes this not only one of the most exciting circuits on the calendar, but one that makes for some consistently high-quality racing as well. Simply put it, there really is no place quite like Spa. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And It's great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Esteban Ocon in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Ricciardo, Sergio Perez, and Vettel, Albon, Stroll, Parker, and Max Verstappen. Norris, Sainz, Pierre Gasly, and Leclerc. Magnussen, Kvyat, they've taken a grid penalty. Kimi Raikkonen and George Russell, Giovinazzi and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Jeff, I'm going to try my best, but from 9th place on the grid, it's a toughie. Luckily, guys, Danny Kvyat had a penalty, so we move up one spot, but this is going to be a very tough race, especially considering that worn engine. Soft to medium strategy like most people are going to do, and let's just see what happens. It's Belgium, it's always a crazy race, so be ready for a wild ride. You guys know the drill. Subscribe if you are new, and let's jam together on the warm-up lap. Oh yeah. Ready for the Belgian Grand Prix. From B9 on the grid, we head to 5 red lights. And it's go, go, go for the Belgian Grand Prix. Valtteri Bottas and Esteban Ocon on the front row, followed closely behind by Lewis Hamilton and Daniel Ricciardo. It's a Renault-Mercedes battle here today, unless ourselves and the Ferraris can get ourselves up into the battle. Vettel is side by side with Ricciardo coming out of the first corner, but Ocon is right behind Bottas as we head towards Eau Rouge for the first time. You guys can see I made it up to P6 myself. Had a beautiful first corner, but we'll look at that in just a second. Here comes the Renault of Esteban Ocon. Where's Valtteri? Got to defend. He runs to the inside. Hamilton is also right behind. Don't forget about him. Ocon is going to try right around the outside of Valtteri Bottas, but the Finn defends beautifully. Ocon is still there, side by side through this next right-hander, but Bottas just gives Ocon the squeeze, and the top 3 are literally nose to tail. You can throw a blanket over those 3, and looks like there's a little bit of a big squabble going on behind, but beautiful start here from both the Mercedes and Esteban Ocon. The second Renault of Ricciardo has not been so lucky because he's squabbling away with myself and my teammate Sebastian Vettel. We jump back on board with our POV for our start of the Grand Prix, guys. Beautiful launch over the line. We jumped the racing point of Blanchard on our inside immediately, got up the inside of Alexander Albon and on the inside of Sergio Perez, and we are immediately right behind Ricciardo and Vettel as we head down towards Eau Rouge. I get a beautiful exit coming out of the first corner. And as you guys can see, down the hill, we've put in a little bit less fuel than normal so we can be very aggressive at the start, but not so aggressive at the end. Overtake mode is engaged. It's right here between myself, Ricciardo, and Vettel. I thought I said Vettel twice, sorry. Where we gotta go? We force ourselves our way to the inside. We all have to do the brakes. We make contact with our teammate. We don't make the corner. There's contact between Vettel and Sergio Perez. It's all popped off here in Spa. Guys, that was a very, very risky move, but Vettel squeezed me so bad into the inside, but it's also Ricciardo was on the the outside, so there was nowhere else I should have gone. Maybe I should have just stayed behind Vettel and Ricciardo for safety measures. But guys, I'm racing for a championship. Sometimes you need to make some bold moves. We'll have a replay of this right now. You guys see on board with Vettel from the engine cover. You guys can see he doesn't really know where to go because Ricciardo's on his outside. I am very lucky to not have broken my teammate's front wing. And then Perez just yeets himself into the side of Vettel. I think Perez had the same mentality as myself. There was a little bit of a gap. He went for it and the door just shut closed. You guys can see this is a very tight thing. I basically corner cut to try and avoid Vettel, but there was just still too little space. Luckily, like I say, Vettel keeps his front wing intact, and I obviously go off the track and hold back so that these guys can re-overtake me, because otherwise that would be an illegal overtake. And you guys can see Sergio Perez saw the gap, but also was a bit too quick into the corner, and he absolutely yeets his front wing into oblivion, and I think that is Sergio Perez's race a bit ruined. That front wing is in a lot of pain, and now we jump on board here with Alexander Albon, so you guys can see as I rejoin the track how sketchy this was still, but I still think it wasn't too dangerous. I keep out of the way of Ricciardo and Vettel, and then basically I just go side by side with Perez, not knowing actually at this stage he's got front wing damage, and then all of a sudden right around the outside there's just all of a sudden Perez there's no grip and no speed whatsoever, and that's an easy move around the outside. So I set my sights back onto Vettel and Ricciardo, but we jump back onto the leaders as we still need to finish this first lap of the Belgian Grand Prix. It's been a hectic first lap. Ocon trying to go for the lead, big moment between myself, Vettel, Ricciardo and Perez, and it's just gonna get better. I basically know that because this is Spa-Francorchamps. Here we go. Into the third sector. Here comes Bottas, and he is actually starting to pull a little bit away from Esteban Ocon, and if I was Ocon, I would really turn up that Renault, because if he's in a Mercedes sandwich, Mercedes can have their way with Esteban, so he really needs to try and lead this fight. But here we go, the top three through. Isn't that Blanchimont? I think that's Blanchimont. Yeah, that is Blanchimont. That little flat out left hand. Yes, that's Blanchimont. Thank you. So, yeah, what is it with me and always forgetting the quarter names at Monaco, Monza, and here at Spa. It's my brain is a big fart. In any case, you guys see Vettel is still in P4, Ricciardo is now in P5, and they are followed closely behind by myself. But guys, it's clear that the Renaults have got fantastic pace this weekend. In my opinion, they are the fastest cars so far this weekend, but we'll see throughout the race how their race pace is. But look at Ricciardo, it's only the start of the second lap. Overtake mode is engaged, no DRS just yet. It will be enabled the next lap. But here comes Daniel Ricciardo, the Australian on the German, against my teammate Sebastian Vettel. Into the corner, Ricciardo locks up, there's more contact. There's more contact between Ricciardo and Vettel, and I think Vettel's broken his front wing. Yes, he has. Oh my word, that is heartbreaking for my teammate, and as I saw that, I just immediately jumped on the occasion and took the position away from Vettel. But just like Sergio Perez, Sebastian Vettel's race is ruined, and it was such a silly incident. Ricciardo just too hot into the corner, he locks up and just swerves right into Vettel, and that is critical points for Ferrari that we are now going to lose, because here comes Vettel at the end of the second lap. Perez pitted obviously at the end of the first lap, and we are going to lose critical points this weekend now for the Constructors' Championship, especially with Mercedes, basically both cars on the podium, and Renault, who are in a world of their own at this stage, being so quick. We can't forget about those two yellow peelies, if I can put it that way. So I'm basically flying the flag for the Tifosi now. We really have to get our head down now. We jump on board here with Lando Norris as he is going side by side with Carlos Sainz, but they've also got their eyes set on Lance Stroll. It's a McLaren double team. Norris gets a beautiful move done here on his teammate as well as on Lance Stroll. That's a double position gain for Lando Norris, the young Brit. Beautiful move there. What fantastic racing here around Spa-Francorchamps. We head now towards Pouhon at the exact same lap, and Norris is starting to pull away from Sainz and Stroll, and you've got the two Alpha Tauris there in the background also, who are still a bit of a threat. But no, there's a massive engine blowout for Lando Norris. He just basically made the move of the Grand Prix, and his engine What is it with Lando and his luck around this track? The engine has said bye-bye, and Lando Norris is out of the Belgian Grand Prix. And guys, the virtual safety car has been brought out. And guys, this is where I made a very critical decision. It's time to box for the hards. I'm sorry guys, I'm talking over Jeff, but I know the hards are not the best tire, but we can gain a massive amount of time with this pit stop. So here we go, into the lane. I've already talked to Jeff. We're going on to a set of hards, and hopefully the virtual safety car stays as long out until we get out of the pit lane.
Release.
Thank you very much. It's still VSC. Yes, we're going to drop a lot of positions, but guys, we are now running towards the end, and I'm hoping that I can jump Ricardo, well, both Renaults and both Mercedes. Here we go. I thought Jim was going to say, okay, let's go. We are still under VSC, and we come out in P13 right behind Kimi Räikkönen in the Alfa Romeo. But guys, I feel this was a very, very, very important move to make, because we basically just took about 10 seconds off of our time going for that little thing, for that little move, that little pit stop. And now you can see onto the next lap. We are already feeling the speed. These hards do not feel too bad yet, and we are right around the outside of Kimi Räikkönen. We are now slowly but surely just going to try and make moves and not get stuck in traffic. We now jump on board with onto the next level, onto lap 7. I saw there on the steering wheel of Lewis Hamilton, and here comes Hamilton going for a move on Esteban Ocon into the corner. Ocon defends nicely, but he locks up. He opens the door for the 7-time world champion, and you're not going to keep Lewis behind in that fashion. And that is Esteban Ocon now down to P3. It's officially a Mercedes 1-2 here at Spa-Francorchamps. We now jump on board with Valtteri Bottas. I think this is the end of lap 8 or lap 7. I'm not sure. I actually think it's lap 7. Depending on what tires Bottas chooses to run to the end, it will be lap 7 or lap 8, because the mediums will make the end from lap 8. It's definitely the end of lap 7 because Bottas is strapping on the hard tires. So they have clearly seen my pace. Mercedes have seen my pace at Ferrari, and they think the hards are the way to go. I don't think if you run this deep into the race, you should go into the hards. Just my opinion, but I'm going for a gamble. So because now I need to, like I said, I'm the only Ferrari left running in the points. So I really need to focus. And as you guys can see, Bottas actually is still ahead of me, but I am much closer. We are now right behind the Haas of Kevin Magnussen. No, it's actually Charles Leclerc, the driver's car who I'm currently occupying. Sorry, Charles, but here you go. You're going to see your ex-team as I just fly past you, and we are now up. I think that's into the points. Actually, I think that's now P9 or P8 if I'm not mistaken. But guys, this is now Alexander Albon pitting on the same lap as Bottas, and this is him coming out of the pit lane, and he even before he gets to Eau Rouge, the Honda engine in the back of that Red Bull has just said to here and no more. And Alex Albon is out of the Belgian Grand Prix. There comes my teammate Sebastian Vettel flying past, but that is like, I think, P16 or something. Yeah, no, not even that. I think it's like P18 now. Yeah, no, P17, because Perez is behind Vettel. In any case, guys, luckily no VSC, so Hamilton and Esteban Ocon will pit under normal racing circumstances. And as you guys can see, Hamilton and Ocon are in at the same time. It's going to be Mercedes mechanics versus Renault mechanics, but I do think Hamilton is far enough ahead, even if he doesn't have the quickest pit stop, to still be ahead of Esteban. You guys can see both of them are going onto the medium tires, so this is a big problem for Bottas, because Bottas is going to be slower until about the final 5 laps. But here we go, Bottas through the first quarter. There's Hamilton on the inside coming through the pit lane exit. It's much closer than we thought. Hamilton is right behind his teammate Bottas, and he will have DRS as we head on towards the Camel Straight. Is this the very moment where Bottas loses the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix and Hamilton starts tightening his grip on the championship battle? Here we go. Hamilton pulls to the outside. Bottas keeps to the inside. Mercedes v Mercedes. Toto Wolff's hands are in his hair. Here we go. Hamilton around the outside. Bottas keeps his nose in there, but Hamilton gets the move done. No, not yet. Bottas is fighting very fiercely at this stage. Finn versus a Brit. Here we go into the next corner. Hamilton has got the move done, but Bottas is just trying to keep his nose in there, but to no avail. Lewis Hamilton leads the Belgian Grand Prix from Valtteri Bottas P2, Esteban Ocon P3, or is it Esteban Ocon in P3? Guys, I came out right behind Ocon just like Hamilton did with Bottas, and look at this, almost a carbon copy, a little bit of wheel banging. Ocon is really aggressive here, but we are right on the outside, and there we go, we get the move done, and we have got myself onto the podium. But guys, remember, my hards are significantly older than Bottas's hards, and here comes Ocon. Even we're not even in third place for a full lap, and before we even head through Blanchimont, Ocon is back into P3. But here is where I had a bit of an idea as Ricardo pits. If I can actually stay with Ocon and he can pull me towards Bottas, I can still get a podium. But to stay with that damn Renault is not going to be the easiest task, because that thing is quick on a quicker compound of tires. Guys, we were not the quickest car this weekend. Mercedes and Renault were battling away to see who's the fastest car. We were definitely slower. I even think we were slower than Racing Point at certain points, but clearly our race pace is much better than Racing Point, unless you get your front wing broken. But you guys see Stroll is nowhere. So, I mean, me and Stroll are flying the flags for our teams, but you guys see I've got a good gap now to Daniel Ricciardo. I try and go for a move here on Ocon, but he just had a fantastic exit coming out of the first corner, and he jumped me by about 3/10, and there was just not enough straight to stay with Esteban. We now jump on board here with Lewis Hamilton, as I think we start lap 13 or 14. Hamilton leads the way from Bottas in P2. Esteban Ocon has caught up to Bottas in P3, and we are now in P4. And as you guys can see, Ocon just left me for dust. I was just smelling exhaust fumes, because clearly this Renault is a stupidly quick car officially. And here we go. It's a little bit of a jump there in the recording, guys. Sorry about that. But Ocon cannot just yet get the move done, but within 2 laps, I think he's going to be past Bottas. We are now in P4 with Daniel Ricciardo also on the mediums, chasing us down very hard in P5. You've got Max Verstappen in P6 for Red Bull. Carlos Sainz is in P7 for McLaren. P8 is Lance Stroll for Racing Point. And P9 and P10 are the 2 Alpha Tauris of Danny Kvyat and Pierre Gasly. So the 2 Alpha Tauris also running quite strong here this weekend, so hopefully they can keep this pace going, because they are both in the points, and it is a very, very good run so far from those guys. You can see we jump on board with our teammate Sebastian Vettel, as he is finally making a move on, well, the second Williams. So that is now Vettel up into P15 of this Grand Prix, and Perez is now stuck behind both of them. But I'm sure that the Racing Point of Sergio Perez is going to make quick work of these Williams cars, just like Vettel did in the Ferrari. So it's a beautiful move outside to inside, but actually Russell is fighting Perez quite hard here. Let's go, George Russell. I mean, that Williams is an absolute boat. This career mode. So I can expect that Russell is fighting with everything he's got. Come on, Checo. Oh, Russell has a bit of a tank slapper going through the first corner, midway through the corner. Unstable Williams, and that is Sergio Perez now up into P17, where Vettel was. Here we go. On board with Esteban Ocon on that very same lap, guys. I don't know why he opened the DRS, closed it back down, and then opened it again. But it's an easy move right around Valtteri Bottas. And that is now Esteban Ocon back to the position where he started in P2, only following a different Mercedes compared to the beginning of the Grand Prix. We now jump back on board with Sergio Perez come the end of that lap. And he is now chasing down the second Williams of Nicholas Latifi, who's having quite a little bit of a better race than Russell. So GG's Latifi. Right around the outside goes Perez, and I think he's a little bit over these 2 Williams boys, so he's really going to put his foot down. Look at this, beautiful from Sergio, and he is right past Nicholas Latifi, trying to chase down my teammate. And guys, we head now towards lap 16 of 22, and looky, the Australian himself, number 3, Daniel Ricciardo, has caught up towards the rear end of my Ferrari. Guys, these final few laps, these hards were really starting to drop off badly, and I just had no pace. So basically, I was defending like an absolute assassin to try, well, not literally like bumping Ricciardo, but just trying to be as smooth and as slick as possible to stay ahead of Ricciardo. Because a P4, now that Vettel is fighting outside the points, as you guys can see, battling the 2 Alfa Romeos, I really need as much points as possible. And because I'm on the hards, fastest lap is not an option. So I need to try and bank those 12 points for P4 as much as humanly possible. So it's going to be a very tough task to keep Ricciardo behind me for 6 more laps. Not the point. Here we go. Sergio Perez goes right around the outside of Antonio Giovinazzi. Vettel made a beautiful move on Giovinazzi for my videos. So excuse that if there's a little bit of a jump in the commentating. That's because somebody does not have any respect for when somebody is busy. Not the point. We jumped back on board with Sebastian Vettel. Beautiful move from Perez around the outside of Antonio Giovinazzi. And here comes Vettel on his former teammate Kimi Raikkonen. The bromance still lives between Vettel and Raikkonen, but Vettel is right around Kimi Raikkonen. The Alfa and the Ferrari are just too just two cars in totally different classes. And Vettel is now close to points, but the next cars ahead of them, the Alpha Tauris, the two Haas's are actually quite far up the road. And you guys can see Daniel Ricciardo at the end of lap 17. He's really going for a move around the outside. Very, very, very risky there between myself and Ricciardo. And coming out of the corner, which you guys can see, I just have no grip left anymore. And Bottas is 8 seconds up the road, so Bottas' tires are clearly in much better condition than mine. We've really got a problem here with Daniel Ricciardo, but you know what? It's okay. Here we go down the downhill towards Eau Rouge. You can see I get a beautiful exit coming out of the first corner using the ERS. We have jumped Ricciardo to 0.8 of a second, so I think I'm safe to not deploy the ERS down the straight, so Ricciardo will not catch me. Guys, look as I bolt away. Look at the Ferrari just squat, and I'm gone. The Ricciardo just like, huh? What just happened to me? What did you do? Why are you just gone? But that is the power of the Ferrari engine and ERS that we have upgraded so much. Thank you, Scuderia Ferrari. But you can see we come towards the end of the lap. The middle sector, I'm useless throughout the corners. Ricciardo, how aggressive do you want to be? He just rams me on the left-hand side of my car, on the side pod. And I was like, seriously? I think I gave him enough room. Okay, Ricciardo. Guys, Ricciardo wants P4 badly. And he wants this very badly. But once I get through the first corner, I do my whole squat method and I'm gone again. But not as much as the previous time we did this. And that Renault is not a slouch in a straight line. So here we go, Ferrari power, V Renault power, down the camel straight. He's got DRS. Will Ricciardo try and go for a move? Here we go, he's closing so quickly. Come on! We head towards the inside to defend the inside line. We are late into the brakes. We just hug the inside. And Ricciardo can't do anything. He's still stuck behind us. Oh my word, what an absolutely sensational battle with Ricciardo we're having at this stage. But here comes my teammate Sebastian Vettel on the first Haas of Kevin Magnussen up the inside. That was happening behind us, guys, by the way. So there we go. And that's a beautiful move from Sebastian, guys. And I think that's actually P11. So he's one position away from actually scoring a point. But it's too little too late as we start the final lap of the Belgian Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton with a very comfortable lead over Esteban Ocon in P2. Valtteri Bottas is in no man's land in P3. And then we are still fighting hammer and fist with Daniel Ricciardo. But looky. Max Verstappen and the Red Bull has joined this little fight. So the two former Red Bull teammates are now fighting with myself. But at this stage of this career mode, it is Ferrari, V Renault, V Red Bull. Here we go, boys. It's time for the final lap battle. You can see once again, I did my squat method coming out of the first corner. But Ricciardo is so close. He realizes Verstappen is behind him. If he's caught napping, Verstappen will not think twice to overtake Ricciardo for P5. Here we go. Once again, Ricciardo is just not close enough. I thought Mr. Dive Bomb King would actually go for a dive bomb up the inside. But luckily, he did not. But guys, Hamilton has driven spectacularly today, overtaking Bottas, making sure to stay ahead of Ricciardo at the start, overtaking Ocon, overtaking Bottas. Beautiful strategy from Mercedes. Obviously, they are still prioritizing Hamilton, even though Valtteri is in the championship fight. But what can you do? Lewis Hamilton is heading towards the bus stop chicane for the final time with Ocon in P2 and Bottas in P3. This is how the race will end, and it's been an absolutely phenomenal Grand Prix, a total proper slobber knocker. But guys, here we come. It's still myself battling away with Ricciardo and with Verstappen. Verstappen is just there, and you guys can see my left front is it's really in pain. Hamilton even sets the fastest lap on the final lap of the Grand Prix, so he takes a full 26 points because Bottas and Ocon are not going to beat him, and most definitely not us three. Here we go into the bottom chicane for the final time. Ricciardo is just not quick enough. We saved enough ERS, and it's been a race and a half. We gambled, and I will take P4 starting from P9. What a Belgian Grand Prix!
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
So, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs. and that's allowed him to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Not the result our points leader wanted, but it certainly makes things interesting going forward. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Interesting choice today, I think. There's a few to pick from, but I think I have to give it to Danny Kvyat. He put in a rock-solid performance today, and one that he can be proud of.
Let's move on to the constructors. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
Guys, what a Belgian Grand Prix. Yes, our lead has been cut down by both Mercedes in the Constructors as well as in the Drivers' Championship. But like I said, we just need to stay consistent throughout the season. We've really got a massive lead. We started the season with like absolute animals, and we were just so consistent with our podiums literally until Silverstone. So for the first, I think Silverstone is what, round 10 or 11? So basically you can go between 9 and 10 races. We were not outside the top 3, and a few of those we won. So I am super proud of our performances thus far, and I mean, starting in P9 after an absolutely terrible qualifying and ending up P4, I'll take that result any day of the week, knowing that I ended in front of one of the cars that are actually significantly fast, that were significantly faster than us this weekend, in the form of Daniel Ricciardo. Not the point. Guys, it's been a fantastic Grand Prix, and I really think this was an absolute slobber knock of a Belgian Grand Prix. Look, I would always love to win around this track, but you win some, you lose some, and some are just mediocre. And I feel this was between good and mediocre. Like, really, it was not a bad race, it wasn't mediocre, but it also wasn't fantastic. But yeah, I mean, that start, I almost ended myself and Vettel's race. And then at the end of the story, we actually ended poor old Sergio Perez's race. And as you guys saw with the results at the end, Vettel did not get any points, unfortunately. So for the constructors, it was only a measly 12 points from my side. But still, we'll take it any day of the week. Guys, that has been the video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Make sure to go check out our brand new content on the channel, guys. Go to the playlist and go towards the Motorsport Lounge for our podcasts of the real life 2021 F1 Grand Prix. It's fun. I do it with some of my friends, some of my best friends, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy the talks. Also, make sure to go check out the Wreckfest content, the Need for Speed content, as well as my team and F2. By the way, my team video coming shortly after this one. Guys, also, if you haven't done it yet, make sure to drop a like down below on the video. It's only gonna take you a sweet nifty 2 seconds. While you're down there, make sure to go check out the links in the description down below, especially for my second channel, Forza Watch Gaming, which is once again going full blast, as well as to go check out Falcon Gaming, the South African clan I'm a part of, as well as my social medias. And finally, guys, if you haven't done it yet and you have made it to the end of the video and you are not yet subscribed, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe down below. Don't forget to ding that bell to never miss our future video here on Turbo Fox Racers. So close to 200 subscribers, guys. We're gonna get there pretty soon. Hopefully, you are one of them. Guys, thank you for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. I love you guys, and I'll see y'all for the next video. Cheers!